That was pretty bad, man. Hey guys, this is Panthers forecast, but yeah, that was pretty bad. We might be picking behind the Saints with the number two overall pick. That was really bad. I mean, we started off good in the beginning. We had that first good drive, got a touchdown. The kicker misses the point after, and then they got confused by the I guess him calling for a fair catch. I guess they were shocked that he didn't call it, and then they ended up giving leverage. Um, this was a game we probably should have won. I think we were in the right position to win. It's just that the moment they scored that touchdown, and our special teams wasn't doing a good job. They were attacking Mike Jackson pretty well, and we just couldn't get any rhythm. I mean, T Mac, can't really do it all. He's a good big body target, and that's what he's good for. But he's not. He doesn't really have that like outstanding speed. You know what I'm saying? He's still a number one receiver. He just doesn't have that like sort of extra speed or oomph to like to get the like 50, 60 yard bombers. So then that brings us to our other receivers. Hunter Renfro is still and that's the thing. If you sort of look at our receiver group, you got Hunter Renfro, who was out for the league. He had this, I believe, an illness or so that kept him out, and then he was able to come back. So he's a comeback story, a feel good story. And then when you go down the list, we have Bryson Tremaine, undrafted free agent. I think he spent some time. I don't know if it was the Bills. It could have been the Bills, but there's a team he spent time for, or maybe it was the Chiefs. I can't remember, but he's an undrafted free agent. And then if we go down our list, you got Bryson Tremaine, you got Hunter Renfro. Then you also have who else was on that field? Let me look up to see who was our other receivers on that field. Because I mean, we have to hurry up and try. Oh, David Moore. Yeah, David Moore had that injury, and that was really bad. And he's going to be missing some time because the way his arm bent on that one was just it was nasty looking. So he's going to be out for a while. Uh, and it's sad, and it's what most people are saying. If Adam Thielen's gone, and we're relying so much on him to get like a spark and all of that. He's a 35-year-old receiver. We're in a world of trouble, but I think the trouble from us comes from we we're still not there yet. We were hoping that we were there, making some improvements, but we still need. I think on the receiver end, we need speed. We need speed so bad. And it's funny to think about if David Moore was in the game more. Could Bryce give it to somebody and check it down? Unfortunately, it's the NFL. You don't want to wish injuries on anybody or anything, but injuries happen, and this it's like they say, it's the next man up. This could possibly get Jimmy Horn on the field, so that way we can see what we have. I know Coker's coming back. He might come back next week, or maybe XL will come out of his injury with the hamstring. And if XL comes back, then I don't think we'll see Jimmy Horn because that's really that was the spot for David Moore, I believe, because I know we run a three wide receiver with it being T Max, and then it was Leggett and Renfro, and Renfro was there for I believe Coker, and then Coker's out, and then Leggett's out, so that's how you get Tremaine or David Moore in there. But we'll see if we see Jimmy Horn just to give him a look. Because I mean, I'm looking at this Panthers, and it's like, hopefully, Jimmy Horn, seventh round pick, blows up. I mean, Coker's doing pretty well, but I mean, just for us to rely on Coker to save our offense. But it's more than that. I think also we're having a problem with the run. Like I was watching the game and I hear, Mark Schlereth and the other guy were talking about like, oh, Chuba was doing his part 4 yards, and we should be able to get like bigger runs than that. Like we did start it off in the beginning. Chuba was running decent. We were passing decently, and then all of a sudden that just all changed. We got down pretty quick. 42 unanswered points. That's pretty bad. And then it was going back to something that I was thinking about against Atlanta. Like, yeah, we beat Atlanta, but it wasn't like our offense was just like demolishing Atlanta. Like, you know what I'm saying? If anything else, Atlanta made mistakes. We didn't beat ourselves. Atlanta made more mistakes, and then we just sort of nickled and dimed, moved down the field. Okay, we'll kick a field goal. Most teams when they're really good, and if a team makes a mistake, they make you pay for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? They will, like, Kansas City. If we were to throw a interception on our own, 35-yard line. Patrick Mahomes is putting that bad boy in the end zone. That's going in the end zone. Like, and the Panthers, we don't really have, our offense isn't that smooth, or it's just not that consistent or great, or we have the pieces to make people pay for their mistakes. If anything else, and I've noticed that with our team, we'll get a turnover and then we'll move the ball a little bit, and then either a holding would set us back, or we'll throw an interception, or the play calling's a little wacky. Like, okay, we were having great, but then great running plays, or getting great yards and running. Then all of a sudden we get a turnover. We want to pass, and it doesn't happen. So there's a lot of things that we need to focus on. I guess in the draft, and then yeah, let me go down to things that I noticed. So in this game, really the main issues was special teams, which is crazy. I didn't think going into this game special teams was going to be an issue, but I think our special team mishaps and allowing I believe like two great returns that put them. I mean, that's 14 points right there on special teams, and that's just piss poor tackling. You know what I'm saying? That's 14 points on there. As far as Evero goes, and people saying that Evero needs to be fired, and I don't really see like I I don't really think that Avero's really the problem, or if firing him's going to solve anything. I just think on the defense, like maybe okay if we do fire Avero, then like the next person that comes are they gonna put like Roseboom and like Trevor Wallace? Are they gonna have them playing at like Ray Lewis or like Luke Kuechly potential? I don't really think so. I mean, they can probably put them in better. I would say maybe better situations, but then it just doesn't seem like that. We're gonna get much change from that. I think it's a player issue, and we did do the right thing by. I mean, I'll put it to you like this: we were either going to be in two positions. So This is going. I'm going to go back to the draft. We took Tedero McMillan with the A pick in the draft. Our offense is still looking, it's a little shaky, but we'll see. I still think we need to get some few players on there, but Tedero McMillan is doing good. He's doing his part. Now, we could have just as easily drafted Jalen Walker, the linebacker with Atlanta. And I think our linebacker would have been good. So I think we still would have been in the same position. We could have very well, with Jalen Walker, been 1-3 as we are today, and our defense would have looked okay. It's okay. It's right there. But then the question would have been on the offense, because I mean our offense would have been like without T Mac. I mean just think about that. That would have been pretty much. And I don't even think we would have traded Thielen. So it just would have been Thielen, Hunter Renfro, and Liat, or it just would have been Thielen, Coker league yet. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Bryce Young would have felt more comfortable with Adam Thielen, but I mean, after a while, defense would have been able to, get on to that. I mean, even though like he's Bryce Young's very comfortable with Thielen, but this game, man, we'll see. I mean, I do kind of think that like I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow morning, and we see like if Evero gets fired, or hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see Canales get fired after that game. There was a video of Tepper walking after the game, and then that dude looked pissed. So. Yeah, we'll see what tomorrow has for us, but yeah, I mean, I seriously do think that I wouldn't be surprised if Canales or Evero gets fired, but I really don't think neither one. In a perfect world, I would say one more year, just one more year, because we just need to focus on the defense and the offensive line, and then I think we're there. So I don't think hope is all lost with the Panthers. I just think that once we get our linebackers situated, so here's one of the things I also wrote down was like a number two corner. Now I noticed Stephon Diggs had that really big play down the sidelines, and that was again on Mike Jackson. And if you really think about it, like most of the time, some of the like deep ball, gut wrenching plays are always on Mike Jackson's side. It's never really on J.C. Horn's side. They really don't really attack him that much. And before the game, I didn't really think that Stephon Diggs would be too much of a problem for us. But I mean, he did escape, and then they had that nice throw with Drake May. But I do think that some of the issues that we have are on this team is linebackers. I don't think our linebackers are doing a good enough job. I think we really miss Josie Jewell. Josie Jewell is missed on this team, and I do think in this upcoming draft we might even have to double dip on linebacker. Like we may have to double dip or like do something very risque and probably double dip on linebacker. Probably do what Atlanta did. How Atlanta took Jalen Walker and then they traded back into the first to get James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. So I think we may have to take a play out of their playbook. I'll look on their. I don't think we have a double 2 seconds or three. We may have like a double fifth or fourth. I'll take a look into that. I might try that in the future. We'll see if we'll do a little mock draft once I get better understanding the YouTube video system. I might try to do a mock draft with you guys. But I think some of the problems that we have is just, yeah, and I've been saying this on, we need a vertical receiver threat. We need speed. That should open it up. This whole like little dinky donkey is sort of cute with like, whether it was with Thielen but we got to start pushing that ball down the field. We have to start pushing it down the field. We need a veteran, not a veteran, but a vertical threat receiver. We need our linebackers. We need an O line to get better at the run and creating more lanes for our running backs because we're not getting Daddle in, and that's the problem. When we got Rico Daddle, I thought we were going to do better with the run. I thought that was a good dynamic 1-2 punch with him and Chuba Hubbard, but it's not looking at like that. It's very inconsistent. And even with Robert Hunt in the game, and it was looking very inconsistent. I didn't like we were running the ball better last year, and for some reason it's not looking good. Like I don't. it's almost to the point where I don't even know if Chuba's going to even get 1,000 yards rushing. So it's like it's night and day from last year. And then I also had thoughts about like Dave Canales and like Dan Morgan and thoughts on the draft and players. And like I said, I think we did do a good job on the eight. But the problem with what I have with the Panthers is that we have when we get into drafts, we gotta start drafting receivers. We can't be doing the whole like upside BS. That's what sort of like I don't think Legette's a bad player, but the Panthers have always sort of done that. Like with Legette, it was like this upside, and he did this and that. But it was like just get a wide receiver. Like I was a big fan of Adion Mitchell. I felt we should have went with him out of UT. There was other receivers in that draft that I like, and that was supposed to be a deep wide receiver draft, and I thought we should have double dipped at wide receiver. Actually, you had like I know Jalen Polk's not really doing too good, but you had let me see if I can look up that draft real quick right here so that way I can see the receivers that would have been. Let me look that up real quick to see the other wide receivers in that draft. But just going off the top of my head, Jonathan Mingo was another receiver like that where, he has all this upside and yak potential and all this other BS and, oh my God, the yak. And then it's like, just draft a good receiver that you've seen play well in college. Because even when I looked at Jonathan Mingo's highlight when he was about to get drafted by the Panthers, you hardly ever saw like somebody fling a 50-yard bomber or like an 80-yard bomber. Like he was just like doing some Reggie Bush highlights. Like no, I saw like one highlight which was weird. Like he ran like a 3-yard route, caught it, and wrestled with the dude, and then he fell down. It wasn't like he caught the ball like 3 yards in, and then like he did this amazing shook, and then the dude was like, "Oh my God!" And then like Mingo takes off for like 75 yards. Like no, he like caught a contested ball, and then he fell straight down, and I'm like, that's a highlight. But that's on the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a risk. If a receiver's a receiver, like I mean, Dwayne Jarrett in our history, he didn't pan out well. But at least Dwayne Jarrett was a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like I know there were people still saying like upside and all of this, and he may not have studied the book when he got to Carolina, but at least that was a receiver. You saw him in USC. Matt Leinart throwing him some good deep balls and him making plays. I think he made that a pretty good catch against USC versus Texas. But I mean, as far as like Leggett, he was out there playing in the South Carolina, and he got speed. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like you saw the where he does like a little wheel and he makes the dude run and he goes over that, and that is good. But in the NFL you got faster corners, faster linebackers, and your quarterback's most of the time not gonna have time to sit there. It's way different in college. But also, what was I gonna say? It was on my name. Debo Samuels. They kept on comparing, and that's the same thing with Mingo. Why are the Panthers so fixated on getting this sort of Debo Samuel kind of wide receiver? I don't understand that. Like, we don't play the San Francisco 49ers offense. Like, our offense is nowhere near that. Like, I get that Dave Canales is from Seattle, but even then, I would say Seattle's offense, for the most part, isn't really, too much like the San Francisco 49ers. The Seattle's always had like speed. You look at them like with DK Metcalf, big, vertical speed, and then they had Tyler Lockett, and that was when Canales was there. You know, why the hell are we trying to get a Debo Samuel's kind of receiver? Like, you know what I'm saying? When Canales was calling OC at with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had Chris Godwin, very fast, very twitchy, and they had Mike Evans. Okay, right now we have our Mike Evans. That would be T Mac. That's why I'm saying we need that vertical. I think that would help us out. And then it is starting to be weird with Bryce. I'm starting to see some things about Bryce that I've always found pretty weird, especially his pocket presence. Well, not so much his pocket presence, but how he reacts in the pocket. So, like, I think earlier in the game, I think Milton, the guy that we were supposed to get in the free agency that took, majority of the money. Well, he had a better contract from the Patriots. He ran up the middle, and Bryce just trips. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you, like, that's just crazy. Like, and I know most people that are like Panthers fans, you've noticed this, is that when Bryce is getting chased out of the pocket, he's always stumbling, and that puts him in such a bad position because he's not really like a mobile quarterback. Like, like I was saying, like Mayfield has better escapability out of the pocket and can maneuver and move. And I mean, I don't really call Baker too much a mobile. I mean, he has speed, but like, like Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson can like fall down, trip over himself, and then he has so much amazing speed that it doesn't really matter. And then even with Mahomes, Mahomes is very crafty. That if he falls down, but for some reason Bryce Young, he just, he just, he sees somebody, he starts slipping, he starts falling, and he just puts himself in a bad position. And then about time he gets like recovered or on 2 feet, ready to move, the defender either gets him, he tries to throw it, he ends up fumbling, or they like block it, and when he's trying to throw it in, it gets intercepted, or we're on fourth down now, but that's something that we gotta work on. But as far as we put ourselves in a bad position because now Atlanta won, Tampa lost, so that would, I guess that puts us a game behind Atlanta, and then we would be 2 games behind Tampa. But I mean, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all because I mean, you know. New Orleans was playing like in New Orleans, and New Orleans was in Buffalo. Even though I didn't get to watch the whole game, I was mainly watching the Panthers game and some other games. But they were right in there with the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and if they don't run into that punter, they ran into the punter. I think it was like 3 or 2 minutes left. The Saints were playing. Actually, the Saints have been playing. I think they almost beat the 49ers. They've let me go check that up because the Saints have been playing close games. I mean, they're 0-4 right now. So let's see. The Cardinals, they were 20-13, and unlike us, they were actually competitive. I think in that game. Okay. Let's see. 46. Well, why did I say 46? 26. So the Arizona was 20-13, but they were competitive in that game. Unlike us, we were just tripping all over ourselves, and then eventually we were able to get our heads out our behind. And then, they went on to play the 49ers, lost 26-21. Seahawks, they got blown out 44-13, but that was in Seattle, so that can be a tough place, especially they are still a little disorganized. And then they went up against the Bills today, and then they were right in there. They were down, I think, 28-19, and they had a chance to get the ball back, but their kicker, their special teams ran into the Bills punter, and that was just pretty much a wrap for them. But Yeah, with the Panthers, it's looking it's not looking like we're gonna probably win the division. We'll see. Next week's game against I believe that would be the Dolphins. That's pretty much the season right there. If we lose to the Dolphins, and I would say let me go look real quick. Let me go look real quick at who Atlanta and the Bucks are playing. I think the Bucks got an easier team to play next week. So Atlanta's playing the Bills. The Bills are going to Atlanta. Atlanta took care of business against the Commanders minus Jaden Daniels, but they're playing the Bills, so we'll see. But I mean, the problem is Tampa. Tampa has that 2-game league, and I actually think that Tampa has a cupcake team. Oh, Tampa's going to Seattle. Okay, so they're going to Seattle, and they're going to the 49ers. So, yeah, but I mean, Seattle Seahawks are sort of a mix-up team, so you don't really know. But, I mean, going to Seattle and the Puget Sound, yeah, that can be an environment. But we'll see. We'll see with the Panthers. I mean, because I believe it's the Dolphins, Cowboys, and Jets, and then we'll see. But I mean, that's my thoughts. I don't think that Evero getting fired is going to change anything. I don't believe Canales is getting fired. I do think that with the Panthers and watching us, we're one draft, I feel like, and maybe smart moves and free agency. But I think the key thing for us to get back on track this year, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to get that offense going. We need speed on that offense, and then also with Bryce Young. I mean, this is tough. This is tough because I'm almost at that point where I'm thinking like Bryce may not be it, and we may have to draft another quarterback. But I think I think we probably could draft a quarterback. But the thing that I kind of fear is that like if we draft a quarterback, would you be missing out on but so far I don't think there's like a linebacker that's like Heisman candidate, game changer, like what's his name from Penn State, Abdul Carter. I don't think we have an Abdul Carter in this coming up draft. I don't know if it's a rich linebacker draft, but you know, if we take a quarterback, then we'd have to get it in the second round, and then we'd also have offensive line. And just think about it. If we go that route, does that stall us, delay us? Because that's pretty much a restart. That's pretty much hitting a restart button. The thing with Bryce is, or with the Panthers, is that I just feel like if we can just get our linebacker situation taken care of, if we can get our speed on the offense taken care of, and then maybe if we can sort of upgrade to a maybe a better number two corner, then we'll be looking good. And then I almost forgot, but DJ Wonnum wasn't in this game, and it kind of showed. And I was kind of a little nervous about that too on the edge. But I think I heard that DJ Johnson start, and that's something that Evero, we need to just go young, get Scrode and get Princely in there, get these young cats in there. Like what are we losing? Like, let's just do the whole youth movement. Like, let's just go ahead and get that going. So that way these we can see what we have, what we need to improve on, and that's how I feel about that. But yeah, man, that was pretty a that was bad. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if Canales or hell Dan Morgan or Evero gets fired tomorrow. It might be Evero or else Canales might hand over the play calling. But I mean, I think it's more or less a personnel kind of thing because I do feel like we're lacking speed. And then another thing, they brought back Dan. I'm going to say his name wrong, but it's Dan Chesina. I know he was on the team last year. He made a catch. He was like an undrafted free agent too as well. But he might actually get to start over Jimmy Horn, which I don't understand. We need to probably give Jimmy a shot, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, T Mac can't put this team on his back, and then also, uh, I think some of our problems that we have right now may not be able to be fixed. We shouldn't make a big splash trade or anything. I mean, if it's like coming off a fifth, then I think we can explore that to get a better linebacker. But at that point, I just think that man, that's pretty bad. That's pretty tough. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. But yeah, thank y'all, and y'all take care.